I'm Roby Brock with Jessica DeLoach Sabin. It's time now for 4 minutes, 4 questions. Jessica asked 2 questions. I asked 2 questions. We duke it out.
That's right.
That's right?
Uh-huh.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, I'm coming first to you.
Okay.
First question. Judge Wendell Griffin ruled this past week that about 500 same-sex marriages in the state of Arkansas that were conducted during a window of a week last year where they were valid and legal before there was the whole appeals of the decision, he said that they had to be recognized. So my question is, does his ruling change the landscape on this divisive and passionate issue?
Sure. Well, the passion that's what complicates this, right? As far as changing the landscape goes, sometimes it's not the law that changes the landscape. It's the time after the law has passed or any kind of ruling has been handed down and people move into accepting it. What we've seen over just these last several months is this outpouring of love and support for this community, but we've also seen almost some equal backlash there as well. I think this is a generational issue. So over time, maybe opinions will shift in one direction or another. I see it being a very progressive move forward. It's just that rulings like these are so important because it helps a certain community know, you know what, you're not alone. There is somebody who is looking at this holistically, and you're separating out your personal opinion from it and saying, we recognize you. Let's think this through. And we also know that the Supreme Court of the United States will eventually be ruling on this.
The point I was going to bring up there is
yeah,
exactly. So
that's coming, and it could happen any time now.
Yeah.
So when they hand down their ruling, then we'll see what really happens here in the state of Arkansas.
All right, you get to ask the next question.
My question is about the EPA.
Okay.
So there's been a lot of regulatory actions and reactions this week to several topics under the EPA's purview, notably a Court of Appeals ruling saying it was premature to consider a proposed rule tied to the President's Clean Power Plan.
Right.
So the question is this. With Republicans in charge of Arkansas's state and federal politics, is the EPA the most villainous, despised federal agency for the GOP?
If you read the press statements that come out from all of our GOP federal officials, and that's all of them, yes, you would think that it is. But I think that there's an agency that's even higher on the villain list.
Who?
And I think that is the IRS. That is the one that is even more despised by not only the GOP, but a lot of Democrats as well, too,
It's
just
pretty
because
universal.
of some of the things that have gone on in the public domain there. So I say the EPA is a close second, but the IRS is still number one.
Oh, that's tough.
That's
okay.
a good one there. All right. All right, 3 Republican legislators have asked Republican Attorney General Leslie Rutledge for an opinion, which is non-binding, over this controversial potential open carry law that was passed in the 2013 session. Former Democratic Attorney General Dustin McDaniel opined that we don't have open carry in the state of Arkansas.
Right.
So will we get a different interpretation from the Republican Attorney General over the same issue?
I'll tell you this, I would be surprised if we didn't get a different interpretation. I mean, if you go back to our Attorney General's campaign platform, if you look at comments that had been made since she's been elected, not only on behalf of herself, but other GOP leaders.
Right.
To them, this is an open carry state. It's just that the state police operates right now as if it is not. That's my understanding. So you have this difference in opinion. The former AG has a background in law enforcement, and his understanding is that we're not an open carry state. So there is a lot of confusion, and I can tell you that is certainly one thing that nobody needs to be confused on because it can lead to a lot of problems.
Sure
So
can.
I'm anticipating that she would say that it is most certainly one.
And once again, almost like the same-sex marriage decision, maybe the courts need to clear this up. There are some things working their way through, but it may take a little time.
And like you said, the opinion's non-binding. I mean, it will be neither here nor there once a court says whatever it's going to say, whenever that is.
All right, my turn. Oh, wait, no, you get to ask the next question,
yes,
is it?
I do.
Oh, man.
I do.
Is this our last question?
Yes, I know you're sad. So
Let's do
here's
it.
the last question.
I'm ready.
Okay, it's about Governor Asa Hutchinson. So Governor Asa Hutchinson heads to Paris and Germany next week as part of a trade trip to promote Arkansas aerospace in France, manufacturing in Germany. So does the governor have a good chance at bringing back a job announcement or two? What do you think?
I say yes, he does have a good chance to bring back, maybe even close a deal or two when he is on this Paris or German trade mission. I think that there's been a lot of foundation laid with several of those companies from previous Governor Mike Beebe and AEDC, and I think there's been continuity on all that. The governor even said as much in a press a press conference today. He did a pen and pad deal with some reporters and said he thought that there might be some things, but he also cautioned there are a lot of things that'll be 5, 6, 8 years down the road.
Right.
I think he'll have more success on this trade trip more quickly than he will the Silicon Valley trade trip that he made a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I would say yes, I think there is a possibility he closes something pretty quick, maybe even comes back with a document in hand.
Hey, that's a happy note to
That
end
would
this
be
on.
wouldn't it?
That's
All
great.
right. Jessica DeLoach, Sabin, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. That's all for this week's Talk Business and Politics podcast. You can catch the full podcast on our website at talkbusiness.net. We appreciate you tuning in.